Happy Saturday, everybody. Sorry, I was running a little bit late. My mom showed up and I just had to move the camera because I thought I'd sit over here, and I'm still in my walking clothes. But it's Saturday, it's casual, right? So many of you are here today already. Let's see. Gosh. And this is saying, Kate, is my hair, is it good? Is it bad? I don't even think I've brushed it today, to be honest, because Miranda was here early. She shipped out some packages this morning, and I put up the Blue Note earrings. I'm doing a little bit of catch up on the back end. So you saw that. So I'm going to get those up on the homepage. I just haven't quite gotten those on the homepage yet. But if you go to Garland Earrings, they're in there for you, right? So that's good. Let me take a drink. Oh, my cup is empty, but someone gave me this a while back, but I've got another cup with something in it here. Multiple beverages, which is the way to go. So I'm here. My mom is here. She's working on the quilt that we just got back from our friend Tracy, who quilted it. Maybe we'll show it to you in a little bit, because that has a stitch-in vibe to it too, right? Looks like Janice is here. Thank you, JP, for being here on the other side of the camera. I know you don't have a lot of time today, but I appreciate it. Janice says it's raining over there in Richmond. Today in... What it's like here. Hello, everyone. Oh, my mom is right over there. What's the temp here, Ma, right now? Is it 90 yet? I'm going to put on some lipstick. 91. 91. So it is 10:46 in the morning. It's 91 degrees. One of the big problems was that last night it didn't cool off. Yeah, it didn't cool off last night. Like at 11 o'clock last night, it was still 90. Yeah. So it can get kind of warm here, right? So, yeah, kind of crazy. So, yep, here I am kind of by my messy desk. But you know what? I'm embracing the chaos today. Let's see. Yeah, I know. JP is saying after the July 4th tragedy in Texas, she has a much deeper respect for water. Same, JP. You know, that's the same spot where I got into my water trouble all those years ago. Yeah, it's crazy how fast that water can come up. So we're thinking about all of you in the Texas area today. We haven't watched, I think Chris taped Wimbledon, so I think we're going to be watching that a little bit later. Yesterday, we've been watching the Tour de France, of course. And so today, I think it's stage 7 or maybe stage 8. Maybe it's stage 8 today. But we've been watching it. It's really, it's so calming and wonderful. I just love watching the tour. Our Ellen is here. Ellen, thank you so much for being here and doing all of that great, linking that you do on our things. Ellen said she's looking forward to the stitch and hearing all about Kate's adventures in France, working on some bead embroidery as well. Oh, that's great. Great. So let me tell you a little bit. I'm just going through all the comments here. We are going to be doing some freeform. I have a couple of things here on my bead board to share with you about Freeform Peyote. And then we're going to jump in. Let's see, anything else? Oh, thanks, JP, for putting that up. The Blue Note earrings, they're under Garland earrings, so they're there. So you'll see those. I've got a few more things to add, but at least the list is there. And then these guys, I need a name for these, so maybe you folks can help me name them today. These I also need to put up, the Super Duo diamonds that I made yesterday. So if you think of any good names, pop them into the comments, and I will consider it for sure. Let's see. What are you doing over here, Gwenda?
I was wrong about the needles.
Oh, you need needles.
Just one of those.
This isn't the sharps, though, is it? Those are the English beading needles. I don't think you want those.
I'll find them.
Here. No, you want these.
Okay.
Sharps. There we go.
You.
For the quilt, we use sharps for quilting as well. Let me show you. So I am looking through here. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Dawn, I love this. I'm going to have to look it up. Dawn says, I found a great YouTube channel this week. It's Gigi the Black Cat. Gigi is Japanese AI. He loves to cook, has a lot of animal friends, and a restaurant in the woods. That's right up your alley.
No, I do know Gigi.
You do know Gigi, of course. My mom is so into AI cats. Oh, the Earring Sandcastle. That's a cute name.
That's a good name.
That is a good name. Okay. I think we've named it. Perfect. Okay. Thanks, Alita. Awesome. Easy. That was easy. You just have to pull everybody together. Let's see. I wanted to show you a couple of photos from, if you have been following my socials and my social adventures, you saw some of the finished pieces that my students made. Let me see. I'm gonna share a couple of. I know this is kind of like come over and see my vacation pictures kind of a deal, but might as well. I'll show you this one from today. I want to show you that. But let me show you the projects that everybody made. Sewing was a super, super joy. We had such a good time. At least I had a good time. And I think that all of the students, I think they did, had a great time as well. We did some fun creating. It was really fantastic. Let me show you these. Let me get that there. And let me show you, maybe I can do this little video. Maybe that'll work. Okay, let me put these up. Yeah, that's perfect. Honeycomb is also great, Michelle. Honeycomb is cute, but I like sand. I think we'll do sandcastle. I'll keep honeycomb for another project as well. Maybe we'll do a bracelet or something. Let me add some photos here. Bear with me here. I'll do that. It was, of course, I went to France and it was so warm. It was like the big, it was a really big heat wave. It was just crazy. Let me see. I think these are they. Yeah. So it was a little warm in France, but we managed it. We had a great time. We did a lot of sewing, which was really fun. Let me put those in. I think those are they. And then let me try and add this video. Let me try that. There we go. Did that work? Okay. No, that's not it. Well, here's the photos. Let me show you this one. So let me get here. So here you can see, it's kind of small, but you can see everybody's really fantastic tops that they made. I'm going to add a couple more photos here so people can see them. It was really, we had such a fun time just sewing and creating. It was really great. If you saw the newsletter, also I threw those in the newsletter. Here's a close-up one that we did there. And then I did a bucket list thing. I'll show you this. There's me. And you know what that is behind me? It was the hottest day ever. We were by the Toulouse airport, and that's correct. That's the Concorde. One of them. And then they have one inside, and I went inside. It was kind of amazing. And you can tell how hot I am. I mean, warm. I mean, it was really fun. So it was great. Oh, and there's my friend Maria. Maria, it's so good to see you. Maria, we're going to have to chat with you or have you send me some photos. Maria did some really fantastic things. Everyone did. I really feel like it was a voyage of self-discovery. But Maria did, this was her piece. Let me go back there. Not the polka dot piece, but the piece on top, that was her top that's kind of folded up on the other top. Maria does a lot of slow stitching, a lot of freeform stitching, and she made this really fantastic slow stitched bowl that I just loved. So Maria, maybe we should do I don't know, maybe you can come on and talk about it or something sometime. It was so, so cool. I took some photos of it, but it's a fabric bowl that she kind of shaped, and then she just stitched, and it's really cool. You can put your little trinkets and stuff in it. It was really, really great. Let me show you. There's some patches here that Deb did. Deb Weiscarver did. Let me grab those patches. Let me see. It's right. I think it's right here. Here we go. Let me put that one down. That was a super fun one. Let me see if I can add it right here. Let me see if I can drag it.
Good. I have a mint in my mouth.
Oh, do you like the mints? I brought my mom some mints from France, some Vichy mints. They are really good. Here's, well, they're kind of on the side. They're kind of hard to see, but you can see that. Those are some of the patches that she used. Maybe I can turn it around. Hang on. Let me see if I can rotate it. It was really fun. And it was so awesome. Everybody brought things to share, and it was pretty cool. Oh, good. Maria, you'd love to share it. Let's talk, because I think it would be really fun maybe to have you on a stitch-in. We could talk about your bowl. It would be really fun to do if you're into it. Because it was really cool. Let me see if I can get this photo in the correct. There we go. There it is. You can see that a little bit better. Those were patches that people created. These are all Deb's, but did kind of some freeform stitching and stuff. And then those patches went on people's garments. So you can see this garment. Let me see right here. This one is Wendy's garment, and she stitched this on. There we go. Let me add this on this one, and let me get this. Let me put this in. And so you can see she put one. These are ones that I did on my embroidery machine, but so that's just a plainer one that's on her piece. So it was really fun. It was super creative. It's of course though really great to be home. But we really had a great time. So yeah, so that's what's going on there. Fun times in France. We are going to, oh, Diane. Yeah. So that's funny. So Dale Dora Show, she was at her house for Dufort. So I'll tell you a little bit about Dale. Maybe I have her book right here. You can get her book. I think I've got it. Hang on. Because I've got a whole bunch of France things here. Hang on. I've got a bag. I told you this was going to be casual, right? It's about as casual as it gets. Yeah, here it is. It's right down here. Hang on. I sent it home. So Dale wrote a book about her life in Dufour. You can find it, I think, on Amazon. It's called Vignettes from My French Village by Dale Doroshow. I know Dale. I've known Dale for a long time. It's right here. I'll show you that. I'll put it under. I'll put it under this camera. Hang on, let me add this so you can see that. There it is. It's really fun. So she lives just down the street from La Cascade. And if you remember, I'll show you. Oh, thank you, JP. The Miyuki bead mixes are there. Thanks, JP. We're going to use those mixes shortly. You can also see them right on the homepage. So thank you, Janice, for doing that. So the street, La Cascade, it's on this street. You can see it's the one that has those kind of teal or light aqua colored shutters right there. So Dale moved to spend some time in Dufour every summer. She's a really fantastic polymer clay artist, as Diane has said. She is so great with her polymer clay. And that's kind of how La Cascade started. A bunch of polymer clay artists. Gwen Gibson was the one who purchased La Cascade. She has since passed away, unfortunately. But it was a real place for artists to gather and teach. And it was great. So La Cascade passed on to this really wonderful woman named Nesha Pelt. And Nesha... a lot of people have different retreats there. And of course, Jen Cushman created these soul stirring retreats that she has there. My friend Kathy Murillo just finished the Crafty Chica. She just finished her retreat last week. So she was there after me. And it was great to follow along on her adventures as well in Dufour. But yeah, the book is fun to hear all about or read all about the small village of Dufour, which is fun. But it was a really good time. It was really super special, and I cannot wait to do it again. Okay, well, let me share with you those mixes. Let me get this all taken care of here. There we go. I think that's there. So the mixes that Janice was talking about, I want to show them to you. We didn't really look at them that up close yesterday, but I've got them here. 2, 4, 6, 7. I believe there's 7 of them. I think I've got all 7. Let me look on the home page here. There's 8. I'm missing 1. Which one am I missing? 2, 4, 6, 7. I am missing. This one is, I'll tell you what these are. This one is Moonstone. This one is Kwanzaa. This one's Peacock. Flatiron. Surf and Sand. Aqua Shimmer. And Autumn. I'm missing Granite is what I'm missing. Let me see if I have it sitting over there. And they're really, yeah, here it is. They're cool mixes. They're all Miyuki beads. And they're all just different Miyukis, right? There's some bugles. There's some 6/0. I think this Moonstone even has 5/0 in it. Let me open that one up so you can see it. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. But I thought they would be perfect for some freeform peyote. Okay, so let me dump out. This is the Moonstone right here. Here's that one. And can you see, look, there's even some drops in there, Miyuki drops, which were cool. I'm just going to dump this out right here because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a few of these mixes together to make a big mix for my freeform. I mean, why not, right? So that's Moonstone. This is my other favorite. This is Flatiron, which I like. What are you doing? Oh, no. I'm just going to mix them. Why not? Here's Flatiron. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, I know the Kwanzaa. I do, Stem Hilly. I thought of you immediately. We might want to add a little bit of yellow. There's no yellow in there. I think yellow is a Kwanzaa color too, I think. But it's a cool one. And these, Carolyn, these are all new mixes. They're in the Just In section. They are also in, I believe I put them in our all bead mix section. Yeah, if you go to all bead mixes, they are in there as well. Okay. But are the Super Duos ones in there? If they're not, nope. You know what? I have to add the Super Duo mixes, but the Miyuki ones are in there. There's also a link on the homepage to the new ones. Yeah, let me put the granite, Margaret. Let me put the granite right here. This is the granite mix. Let me put that next to it. Here's granite right there. Pretty, right? Let me also add, what's this one? Surf and Sand, I think. Is this one? Let me put this one out. Just for fun. I mean, why not? Open that up. Look at that one. That's really pretty. That's a nice one. And they all kind of go, I mean, I don't know. I might as well just might as well put these out, right? So you can really see them. This one is the peacock. Look at this. Look at it. It has these big, these are 6/0. These might even be 5/0. They're pretty big. Those there. And so they have bugles, they have cubes. I think just whatever they wanted to do, they put in there. And these are ones that we're going to keep in stock. Is there a triangle here that I can pick these up with? Because it is getting a little crazy on this bead board. Yeah, here's one. Yeah, we could certainly add some pearls. The great thing about Freeform, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I'm going to approach this. Freeform really is just that. Here's that Kwanzaa mix. Let me put that out. It's all about just, look at how pretty that is. Great holiday, but it's also kind of beyond the holiday too. I mean, you could add some other colors in there for brights. Those are really nice. Here's the autumn. Let me put the autumn one over here. The autumn is really pretty. You've really liked this one. Look at how nice that is. These two would mix together. And then finally, this one is, what was this blue one? What was it called? I'll tell you. It was called Aqua Shimmer, is this one. There we go. There's that one. So there they are. Okay. Yeah, the autumn is nice. And these were pre-made. These were not ones that we made. These are pre-made mixes. And they're just ones that we liked, so we thought we'd get. They come in 10-gram tubes, but you get quite a few beads in there for your 10 grams. Maybe these are the two, right? Those would work together pretty nicely. I don't want to get too crazy on here because I do want to have a little bit of order so it doesn't look like the dog's breakfast when I do this. But let me put these back in. These have some 11s, which is great for Freeform. You need some small beads, you need some large beads. And what I would do if you're going to use these as a base for your Freeform Peyote, let me get this one. This is that Surf and Sand one. I would go through your stash. Freeform is perfect for kind of stash busting, right? So anything like that you have a single of, or something that's big or whatever, and you're like, I have no idea what to do with this. It's great to incorporate it into your freeform. Look at this one. This one, this is that granite. I like it a lot. It also has some drops in there. Let me see. I've run out of bowls. I'm going to put this back in its tube. And if you have some Miyukis kind of left over that you don't really know what to do with, and they kind of go with this, throw it in the mix, right? It's okay. Make your own mix. Don't be afraid. That's what I do. Put them in little baggies. Okay, and let me put, I really like this moonstone. I think I like that it's called moonstone, but I also like, it's got some little cut beads. It's got some tiny cubes. It has these really big, I feel that these are 5s because I think these are 6s. So see, it's a little bit bigger, right? And it has some peach color in it, which I like too. So I grabbed a couple of baggies just off of my cart of things that need to be finished. I also have some bead mix bags on there. So let's take a look if anything in those mixes might be appropriate for what we're doing. Then it'll help me figure out. I don't think that's the right lid. Let's see if that lid is right. That's not the right lid either. Hang on. I think I might have put the wrong lid on one of these. Yeah, it's this lid. And then this one goes on here. There we go. Okay. So let me pull out this peyote, Freeform Peyote one that I have here. You might remember this. I'm going to pull out this blue one too. There we go. This was the Freeform Peyote bead I did a while back. It wasn't that long ago. But that's this one here, okay? And these mixes would be great to do something like this. This is the little group of beads that I had left over from stitching it. And I've just kept it in a bag because I've got a little bit more to do on there. And I just keep them kind of all together here. This has some megatamas, right? So that's this right there. I also have, I've got this kind of random bag of stuff. Let me see if I want it. I don't know. I might, you know me, I always like to put in, here's a strand of, what a surprise, shadow beads. Here's some of that Duracoat galvanized pewter. That's pretty. Some of these are beads that we don't carry anymore. This is that brown tan Picasso. I'll throw that out there. But I thought for freeform, it's always good to have something to kind of help you anchor the piece. There was a charm. Here it is. It's that one. Okay. So this is, I think this is the temple component. It's got some holes in there. I also grabbed this Clio clasp. So we've got something to work off of you could also grab like a disc or a large bead or I don't know, just something to kind of help you anchor it. So let's start off by giving ourselves just a line of peyote. I'm going to use this because I've got them here.
What do you mean by anchor it?
Well, to anchor it, to have something for the freeform to hang on to. You'll see when I do this.
I wasn't sure after you
let me show you.
Anchor the design.
Well, maybe that too. I don't know. You'll see. You'll see when I put this together. So remember with peyote, right? We have, because it's so freeform that sometimes you need something to kind of be a focal or to kind of work around. And you'll see that when I put this together. Okay, so remember peyote stitch is like little blocks of beads that are offset, right? So that's one row. There we go. That's one row. That's a second row. Here's our third row. We have some peyote stitch paper or design paper that you can kind of map things out, but freeform really isn't something that you map. So here's the third row. So basically what you need to do with freeform is I need to do like the first 3 rows. So I've got something to work off of. Okay. Now, ideally, when you're working with regular peyote stitch, all of these beads are the same size. Maybe they're 11/aughts, maybe they're 8/aughts, whatever. Okay. But with freeform, we start to incorporate different beads. And what that does is it kind of starts to make this design not so regular and a little more freeform, if that makes sense. So let me show you. Let me start with just kind of isolating some of the beads I'm going to use at the beginning. And you're going to ask me, you're asking me right now, Kate, how many beads are you going to use in your first row? I have no idea. Let me just, here's some 11s. So I'm going to take some 11s out. There's also some 8s. So there's a few 11s right there. Let me take a few 8/aughts out of this mix. Go there, a few more 8/aughts. Because again, once you have this established, then life gets a little bit easier. Okay, so here's some 11s, here's some 8s. These also have some triangles, which are kind of cool, these big triangles, which I like. Let me just string my needle. You know, I was going to use clear white Fireline, but I think I'm going to use darker Fireline so you can see it. Hang on. I don't want to drop the camera, which is fine. Let me take the camera off the stand so I don't have a camera accident. Let me get some Fireline that's darker. I used white last time too, and it didn't quite work out. And it doesn't have to be Fireline. It can be just about anything. Here's some Fireline Smoke in 4-pound. I'll use that. Be a little bit easier for you to see right there. Okay. So with freeform peyote, you kind of have to suspend all of your expectations and just go with the flow. Okay. Seriously. Because that's what freeform is all about. So I'm just going to thread my needle and I'm going to start. We've got some really good basic how to start peyote stitch videos on Bead Shop, but I'll show you. I'm going to start with these 11/aughts. Let me get a little tighter in here. Sorry, they changed up the interface on StreamYard, so it's a little difficult for me. Oh, look at that. You're hemming already. Looks good. Sewing the binding. I'll show it in a little bit.
Even though it's really hot outside, the air, I love it.
Oh yeah, my mom's sitting directly in the air conditioning.
But I'm under a quilt.
She is. She's under a quilt. She's sewing the binding on, so it's pretty soon my mom's going to be napping.
That's really funny because
that's just what you want to do. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm putting on 10 11/aughts here. Okay. And then we're going to go back in, and the mantra is put on a bead, skip a bead, go through a bead. Dolly and Twig, Mary C. Hi, Mary. Is that our Mary, our Palo Alto Mary? Is that a different Mary C? I'd like to know what's going on with that Mary. Let me put on a bead, skip a bead. It is. It's our Mary from Palo Alto. Mary Cravens, how are you? What are you doing? We miss you. Why aren't you here? Why aren't we in San Juan Bautista sewing? Put on a bead, skip a bead, go through a bead. My mom's sewing on the quilt binding. Mary, I have to show you. Yes, Apron Mary. Yes, Apron Mary, my bestie. What's this Dolly and Twig? I need to see what that's all about. Mary, we've got a lot to discuss. I just got back from, as you know, from France. There's a lot to catch up on. We've got a lot going on. But my mom's using the, she's had her finger fixed. So you're not doing anything but just healing and relaxing. I hope, just relax and watch some Tour de France. But I miss you. I'll show you my mom quilting in a second too. I finished this quilt. Oh my gosh, I love it. Chris and I were just invoking your name yesterday because, I don't know, we were probably eating something that you and Mark would have liked. Okay, so here is the first row. Let me get this. And the first row, as my friend Mary Craven says, looks like the dog's breakfast, right? But let me get this a little closer. And that's okay. It'll look a little like the dog's breakfast for a while. Okay, so here are the first 3 rows. So you can see I've put on a bead, I've skipped a bead, I go through a bead. So that's a bead I put on, that's the bead. Put on a bead, skip a bead, that's the bead, and then go through a bead. Okay, so you can see here that first 2 rows of 10 came up to 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of hard to see. Then the second row is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this bottom row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, and you can kind of tighten it up a little bit, and these 11/aughts might not have actually all been the exact same size, but they should be because they're Miyuki's. But see how I kind of put this like this, okay? So now what we're going to do is, and it's not quite time to anchor. I want a little more stuff here. Let me go out a little bit and tell you. So I'm just going to pick a bead, not an 11/aught. Maybe I'll pick this cube and I'll go through this bead. Okay, like this. Oh, thank you, Anissa. Anissa says, I'm fond of your teaching, Kate. Well, thank you. I'm glad somebody is. See here, now I've got, no, I know all of you folks are so kind. See how I've got kind of a big space right there? Can you see it? And I don't know, you just have to be you just have to follow your intuition. So what Deborah's asking here is any tips for the first 2 rows so it doesn't twist if you are following a pattern? Yeah, well, the first 2 rows, Deb, they're going to twist anyway. So you kind of have to do those first rows and then kind of rearrange them so they're in the right order, so that when you come in and you put your next row in, make sure that you're going through the beads on row 2 rather than row 1, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know if it does. So see here, I've got a space right here. So let me put another big bead there. Okay. So there we go. And things are going to start curving and moving, but it doesn't matter. And Carolyn is asking, am I working horizontally or vertically or changing directions? I have no idea yet, to be honest. All I'm doing is establishing a little bit of peyote. And I'm going to work a little bit more at Kate's speed. I'm going to put one on that's a little bit smaller, just so we establish something. Okay. And an 8/0. I don't want to go all super big or super little. Okay. So here, what we've got is that piece right there. Okay. Stem Hilly is saying wrap it over your forefinger to prevent it from becoming twisty. That's a great tip, Stem Hilly. It kind of holds it in place for you. See if I can focus that. So now I'm back over here, and I feel like I want to go not this way. I'm going to go this way. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I will go back this way. So see, if I pull this, see how this is kind of giving me little slots to put my beads in. So I just need to come in and fill in those slots. There's an 8/0. Here's another 8/0. I'm going to try and kind of regulate it now. Maybe I'll put a bunch of 8/0s in. Maybe I'll put an 11 in next. I don't know if it'll go through the whole of that bead. Let's see if it does. Nope, that's okay. And I'm going to put in another cube right there. Okay. So there we go. I'm just going to keep going. I like the way these cubes look, so I'm going to stack another cube there. Right? We do need to have Emily do a fringe class soon, I hope. But next week, you know what's happening on Wednesday? It's time for the tree. There we go. I'm putting a cube that's a little bit bigger. See that? Now I've got a little bit of space there. I'm going to put one more of those triangles. And then I've got something kind of big here, so maybe a bugle will fit there. There we go. All right. So I'm making this, you guys, real freeform. Okay. So if you want it to be a little less freeform, stick to beads that are a little bit closer in size, right? But I just went for it and threw on this bugle, right? So I'm going to put an 11/0, then I'm going to go back through that bugle. Just remember, put on a bead, skip a bead, that's the bead I've skipped, put on a bead, go through a bead. Okay, that's the mantra. So as long as you're kind of sticking to that, see, this bugle wants to lift. So I want to pull it down tight, pull it there, and see, I've got a little bit of space right there. So I'm going to get one of these triangles. Speaking of triangles, we are packaging them up. You should be getting them all next week. The labels have been created. So as soon as there's movement on those, you'll start seeing some tracking. In case there was a question, I'm going to put another one of those triangles on. Look at that. Bam. So this, I'm going to put this blue one. And this is all with the flat iron mix right here. Okay. So there we go. So now I'm going to go back. Put on this triangle. Put on this A dot. And see how this space is kind of big? I need to get from this bead to that bead. So I'm going to put on, that's an A dot, a triangle, maybe another A dot, and then go through. Okay. And that combination, see how that fills it in. See how this is kind of slooping or swooping down right here? I'm going to let that just do, and I'm going to just keep going like up here. I'm going to let it do what it wants to do. I'm going to put another triangle bead there. Okay. Like that. And now I'm going to come back in and go across here. Now, this might be the time to start anchoring. Maybe. Okay. Let's say that I wanted this to be a bracelet. I could have this be, work on this and be a center. I could get a disc. Margaret's asking me, Kate, would I put an 8, an 11 under the bugle to fill it in? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've got plenty of time. So let me see what I have in the way of discs. Bear with me here just a second. I want a 30 millimeter disc is what I want. Let me see if I have one. I do. Oh, good. I've got a leopard skin jasper one. That'll work. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. Hold, please. It's also showing me that we need to replenish those, or an I Ching coin. Maybe I'll get an I Ching. That's even better. Hang on, because it's flatter. Hold on. Oops. Yeah, this will work. That's a good one. But let me show you what I was also thinking with the disc. 30 millimeter. There's one. Okay. Maybe I'll use them both. Why not? There's that leopard skin jasper. Leopard skin jasper comes in a bunch of different kind of colors. Maybe something like this. So a lot of times what I do when I'm doing freeform, yeah, and of course, Anissa, you can have permission to do this project for anybody you want. Trust me. You know, and that's an interesting, I was talking with one of my students the other day. We were chatting about, projects and stuff like that, right? And if I didn't want you to do this, right, then I wouldn't show you how, right? There's a few things that I have in my bead world, my bead tips, that I don't really share. Like, I don't really teach people how to make my coin buttons, right? There's a few things I don't teach people how to do, only because those are things that I make and sell or have in my store or whatever, for whatever reason, right? But anything that we do here on Bead Shop, really, I want you to make it to sell. You can share share the techniques with your friends. All I ask is that you give credit, or take the idea and use it as a springboard for your own design, right? Does that make sense? That's what I want you to do. I want you to have fun. So yes, that's the story. This is starting to shape up, kind of. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to let this sit for just a second, okay? And I'm going to start something new off of this disc, and then maybe we'll put them together. The thing about Freeform is it's Freeform. This is not linear. And I know for some of you, this is also something that we talked about at the retreat. I know for some of you, non-linear thinking can be a challenge, right? Improvisational beading, improvisational sewing. My friend Karen from the retreat and I were chatting. We talked a lot about improvisational sewing, like those patches, definitely improvisational sewing. The Frida stitch-in kit, very improvisational. Sometimes you just have to just go with the flow, right? And with something like this, don't get too attached to it. Don't be too precious about it, is what I like to say. Just jump in and do it. You can always take it out. The beads, unlike sewing, with beads, you can just cut them up and they are beads again, right? And you can use them in a different project. With a quilt, if you've cut those quilt blocks out, right, Gwenda, and they're the wrong size, you're SOL.
Well, you can make something.
You can, but
I know what you mean.
It's
not as easy as cutting a piece of string and taking the beads off.
Right, exactly. So what I'm doing here, I'll finish these up with some 8/0. I'm just putting a little bit of a ring around, see this? Around this I-Ching. So I've got a base. I've got something to anchor it around. Now, maybe I'll put one of these shadow beads like this. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to put both of these ends through here. You know what I'm going to do before I do that? I'm actually going to tie a knot. I know. Oh, horrors. We're tying a knot in seed bead work, but who cares?
Why not?
Indeed. You just have to anchor it down. Sorry, let me put my camera. So see, that keeps it from moving around a little bit. Let me scoot my camera back a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to peyote stitch off of this. So it's kind of like when you're doing a jigsaw puzzle with a group of people, right? And someone's working on the edge pieces and someone's working on like this patch of blue or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, wait a minute, this goes with that, right? So that's okay. Let it let it evolve that way. So here we go. I put on that 8/0, there's that 8/0, there's that shadow bead. I went through that one. I'm going to put on this one here. See, I'm just kind of peyote stitching off the front. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. Off the front of this disc, of this I Ching. Whoops, I didn't skip a bead. Let me go back. Though it doesn't really matter. I should have, well, and I should have taken the needle off. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go through that one. I'm going to pretend like none of that ever happened. I'm just going to put on another bead, and I'm going to keep peyote stitching. It needs to be a little bit of a bigger bead, and I'm going to go right there. See that? All right. So I'm going to try and come off this disc. I'm not going to worry about the beads underneath it right now. Put that one on. Let's do a few more of the shadows. And keep your tension fairly tight here. See, I need a place. See, there's a space for this bead right there, but there's nothing here for it to go to. So I've got to make this and this meet. So I'm going to put on 3 of these beads. Okay. There we go. See that? See how that came around there? And go through. And again, it might look a little screwed up until you make some sense out of it, but don't worry. All right, there we go. I still have that line on the back. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to keep peyote stitching. Let me do 2 11/0. Go through that bead. 2 11/0 are kind of the same length as an 8/0. It's giving me a little bit of a hole there, but I can come and fill that in later or not. Doesn't matter. See how I keep pulling that bead, those beads, so the tension is tight. And tighten it through. Okay, like that. Thank you, Mare, for reminding people to like this broadcast. I super appreciate. I can't wait to catch up. We've got to talk about our bag retreat, quilting retreat for next year. Look at that. See how that's just peyote-ing, right? Right together. So I'm going to get this here, 2 11s. I'm going to go through here. It's essentially skip a bead, put on a bead or 2 beads or whatever that is, go through a bead. So see here, I am skipping that bead. I've put on this bead, and I'm going through those 2 11/0 as if it were one. Oh, Mare, thanks. And subscribe. You know, our subscription, let me put this up so you guys can, I just jumped in. I'm out of practice. You can find everything bead shop related, as you know, all over the web at beadshop.com. Tag us if you do anything, if you post anything using our products so we can repost. If you have questions or you need to get in touch, email us over at info@beadshop.com. Also, in our YouTube description, we have our coffee link, and by no means are you required or whatever, but people have asked, and I'm looking for the link over here, how they can toss a little thank you cash our way for all of these tutorials that we do just for you. I'm looking for the link, sorry. Here it is. if you go to our coffee account, coffee.com/beadshop.com, we have our little coffee link up there. And if you're so inclined, you can, for the price of a coffee, or as I like to say, a gin and tonic sometimes, you can toss us a little thank you for that. But it is certainly not required, but always, always appreciated. So see there how this is really starting to look not too bad.
You look like you're really enjoying that. Like you're really relaxed.
What, this freeform? Yeah, I love freeform.
Yeah, you're just,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good stitch in. I'm sitting here.
Yeah, my mom's sitting there. I should take this camera so you can see. Do you want to put the quilt up?
Whatever.
Let me look at this. Here, let me see if I can show people what you're doing. You want to hold up the quilt?
Yeah.
Let me see. Moving it over. There she is. There's Gwen. It's kind of, let me see if I can, you're a little blurry. So my mom, there she is. She's sewing the binding on that quilt. Can you see it? You'll get confused if you look at your show.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah, there you are. Can you see that? So the binding is going on. So this is the quilt that is going to the Ukrainian.
Let me stand.
Okay. There you go. Oh yeah, that shows really well. Very nice. And you can see the back is really pretty. Yeah, Chris's, for the reunion, his family is Ukrainian. So we did it in kind of the Ukrainian colors of blue and gold.
Beehives on
and there's
the back.
beehives on the back. Yeah. And it's quilted. Let me see. Can I zoom? I don't know if I can zoom in. It's quilted with, yeah, there you go. Can you see they're kind of sunflowers right there?
And there's, in the center square, there's bees.
There's bees, yeah. How many pieces are in this quilt, Quinda?
About 960.
Yeah, about 960 pieces.
I'm not exaggerating.
No, she's not. My mom started this out, and then we worked on it, and our friend Tracy quilted on it, and now it's going to Canada. Anyway, thanks for showing that, Ma. Everyone loves it. It is fabulous. It's really fabulous.
Yeah, it took 10 days.
10 days, start to finish. That's a record. But now we can take a little bit of a break. So yes, my mom is definitely stitching in. So see how I've got this. I don't know if it's time yet to connect, but see, I need to kind of peyote stitch. Yeah, Mary's saying the Paul Lind square.
Has bees.
It has bees. That's exactly right, Mare. We'll tell that story someday. It's a good one. The Paul Lind. You'll have to bring the Paul Lind quilt with you.
Kate and Mary and I spent some lovely weekends by the sea quilting.
Yes, we have.
And Mary's husband and my husband would play cribbage and then cook. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's so good.
Wonderful memories.
So good memories. The Paul Lind, we call the center square of a quilt the Paul Lind because, as you know, or you may not know, he was the center square.
Yes.
And we have a whole backstory to that we'll share sometime.
But this block is similar to the...
It is very similar to that. So yeah, so Diane, the story with this quilt is, right here, is that every year when we go to the Canadian family reunion, everybody brings things for the family auction. And what we do is, and we have a big auction. It's like the big event of the reunion. And we auction everything off and it gets kind of heated and kind of fun. And all of the auction funds get put into the reunion fund for the next reunion. Okay. So the first, well, it was actually the second year that we went. My first year was the year Chris and I had just gotten married, and we went to the reunion. But the second reunion that I attended, I'm like, you know what? I want to make a quilt. So my mom and I get together and we make my mom's Canadian maple leaf. Yeah, a pattern that my mom had designed. It's a maple leaf pattern. And so we made it in kind of reds and whites. And it was really, really gorgeous. So that it was a very spirited, shall we say, auction item. They save it to last. It was a gorgeous quilt. So what we did, so it really, and I also brought jewelry and other things to auction off, but because I'm not competitive at all. So of course people have asked already, you know,
what's this year's quilt?
What's going on with the quilt, etc. So we've got a quilt to auction off. I've got a couple of bags I'm bringing, some other things as well. So it's always fun. It's always in good fun, and it really we make money for the reunion fund for the next year. So that'll be fun.
Really, the family is Ukrainian.
Yeah.
And so
this will have a lot of meaning, I think.
The Ukrainian colors are,
yeah.
It's a beautiful book.
So see here how, and it might be time to connect this. See that? See how that puzzle piece kind of fits there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here. I'm going to fill this in. Let me see. I think I want a cube to go right there. And can you see this? I mean, there's nothing not freeform about this, right? This is all freeform right there. That's going to sit like right there. So what I need to do here is I need to come in and make the connection from here, I think, to about there somehow, and then kind of go through and stitch that. So this, I think I want, when in doubt, use a shadow bead. I'll use an 8/0 because I want them to kind of tuck in there. Right? Yeah, this is kind of looking like an ancient artifact kind of a deal, right? That was kind of my goal. Now I'm going to go through that triangle. Okay. Let me get in a little bit tighter and do this. Okay. So now and this is going to be a little loose until I really connect it. Okay. So now from here, I'm going to go through this one. Just let the thread path kind of tell you where it wants to go. And go through these two. Okay. You always have a lot of threads, but you want those threads because you want some, some threads to kind of to work with. So see here, there's that little 11/0. I'm going to go through that. And there was no way I could have planned this, right? No way. All right. So there we go. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put that needle down. I'm going to pick up this needle that's right here. Okay. And I'm going to go, I feel like this wants to go through that as well. And back through that one just to anchor it down. Okay, great. Now I've kind of have this little space. I'm going to keep going here. And these are kind of hanging out. So I've got to do some peyote stitching. Whoops, sorry. I was off there. So I need to kind of close this up. So I'm going to go through this one. Now I kind of have a straight line there. Can you see how I'm going to just kind of peyote stitch? Oh, I like this. Jason Mudlark. Sharon is saying Jason Mudlark is a good follow if you like to see cool antiques from the Thames. Yes, you know how I love mudlarking. I'll have to check him out. I don't know why I didn't think to look to see if there were any YouTube mudlarking videos. Mare, do you know about that? Look up mudlarking. It's people who walk the foreshore of the Thames and find all kinds of really interesting things. If it's precious, it has to be turned into whatever the authority is. But sometimes you get those things back. But if it's super precious, it goes into the British Museum. But a lot of things are just like, you know, like buttons or pins or all kinds of, you know, like straight pins, right? Because that's how clothing was held together, with pins, right? Not with buttons. I'm going to come in, I'm going to go through here, but it's really interesting. There's a mudlarking book. There's a woman, her name's escaping me, but she's the one who kind of puts the mudlarking on the map. Of course, there is an excellent exhibition at the Tate. Oh, God, we've got to get over there. It was so tempting because we were just on the other side of the pond, but maybe next year. It's so cool to see the things that they find. Okay, so there's that. So I need to, again, this is getting a little, it's still a little loose. So let me just focus on getting this piece tightened up. I need something long there. I like these bugles for that. I'm going to put a bugle right there. I don't know that I've used bugles in Freeform Peyote really that much. So see how now when I pick this up, you can really see how it has, we've got some space. So I need to start taking up some of that space, but that's okay. I'm going to use some of these small ones. Pardon me. I'm going to use two. Get some water. Hang on. There we go. Hydrate. Those little beads kind of help to pull everything together. I'm going to work my way over here. And sometimes if I want this to be dimensional, what I'll do is I'll come like right here. I'm going to make a little line of 11/aughts and maybe one of these. And I'm going to go through kind of where I feel like I want it to go. And so see how that gives me, those beads are kind of laying on top there, but it gives me a little bit of dimension, a little bit of height. So I need to kind of do that same thing. I'm going to reposition my thread. Let's see, where's that coming out of? It's coming out of there. So I'm going to go through that one, put on maybe that triangle, peyote stitch it to that one that was on that strand that came across. There we go. That tightens that up. Put another one of those on. Go through that one. So again, putting on a bead, skipping a bead, going through a bead. So there we go. And see how that's kind of tightened everything up. right? Now on the back, this still just has this connecting it, right? So I think I'll come back in and do another line of this coming out there. And then let me start thinking about, well, is this going to be a bracelet? So if that's going to sit on my wrist like that, right? And it just evolves as you're working on it. Okay. So if that's there and this is going to be there, I'm going to need about that much. That's about 2.5 inches, 3 inches or so around. This I probably don't want to be in the very center, so I'll come off of that. This might be overkill. I think it's a bit big, so I think I'll leave that out. But I can come out a little bit more and then taper it in a bit. But let's try and make sense of some of these threads that I've got here. I've got this shorter thread. I'm going to get rid of this shorter thread. Okay, this is a short one. So I'm going to put on another needle. If I can find my needles, there they are. And then I have another thread coming out that doesn't have a needle on it. Let me see. I don't like working with like maybe 4 threads coming out at a time because it can get a little bird's nesty. Okay, so these are the 2 that have the needles on, and these are the 2 that are loose. So this short one, I'm just going to come in and stitch. Right, this looks like a good spot for a little more peyote stitch. So I actually might even brick stitch right there because the holes are a little off. So I'll kind of do that. Bring that around. I'll put 3 on over there. Go under that thread bridge. Because remember, brick stitch is just peyote stitch on its side. I'll go through there. There we go. That looks good. And I'll come back around. And then I need to start weaving this in, because I'm getting kind of dangerously close to the end of this thread. Though I could do the Danielle Wicks trick of adding, because this is fireline. But I think I'm just going to do a little bit of peyote stitch right there. And let me just come in and weave this in. And I kind of want to turn some corners. The thing about this freeform is that you've got plenty of room for your threads, right? And if it feels loose, you just need to get your thread just tighter, right? Just go in with your thread and kind of tighten it down. That was a little short. I could use a sharp in here. But what I'm going to do is, when my thread is short like that, I just thread my needle through where I want it to go. I want it to go through that. And I want it to go through that one. And then I'll thread the eye of the needle, needle the thread, and slide it through. Okay. Of course, it's caught. There we go. And I will clip or thread burn or whatever. But that little thread is done. Okay. So are we out of I Ching, Dawn? Let me look on the back end. We will. Let me see if let me search the back end here real quick because we have a bunch in the bag. I can count them. Oh, there's plenty in stock. Yeah, we've got plenty of I Ching. We've got 90 in stock. So, yes, those until they run out, we will keep carrying them. Okay. They do differ, right? They're a little bit different in size and shape. So where's the other one that doesn't have a needle attached? It's here. So maybe I'll use this to attach it to the back. This is sitting a little funny too, but I'll come in and weave that in. Okay. So let me just get that needle threaded. I will bring it around. To maybe up here. And here. There's no wrong answer when you freeform peyote. There just isn't. You just stitch where you feel like you need to be stitching it. Okay. And I'm going to go through this bead right here and then I'll show you. Come on. There we go. Now, I'm going to come in and I'm going to stitch. I'm going to bring my needle through the I Ching coin like this. And I'm going to see where I want this to attach. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to come down with the 11/0 and I'm going to go through that bead right there. Okay. So I don't know, 11s, because they're small. And if this is on the underside of a bracelet, we don't want to get too crazy with it. Let me see how many we need. That looks about right. And I'm going to go through that 6/0, that shadow bead, and those 2 8/0. Okay. There we go. Now that's anchored. Okay. So I can anchor it one more time if I want to right now, but I don't think I do. Not right now, at least. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to take care of that little hole that's kind of there. So let me do that. Something not too big, not too small. And sometimes you're not really peyote-ing, you're just embellishing right over that base. So I'm going to come up through there and I want to firm this up. So I'm going to go through that 8/0. I'm going to put on a couple of 11s. You can see how important 11/0 are in freeform. 15s are too, but there aren't any 15s, I don't think, in these mixes. I'm going to go back down through that bugle. And then, see, I've got some space here to fill in. So I don't know. Maybe a triangle, an 8/0, a triangle, and an 8/0, and bring it down here. Just put on the beads that look like they would fill up that space. And that's a little bit long. Let me see if I can take that 1/8 off. Though I'm stitching back through, so we know that's always a bad idea. And it didn't come back through. Something is kind of caught though. Let me see. Not that bead. Okay, not that. My threads are starting to give me a little bit of grief. Hang on. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to take this out. Take one of those threads off. Okay, so there's something weird here. There we go. That thread needs to be over there. I'm going to take off. Maybe I just need 2. Yeah, I just need 2. See how that fits in there? Deborah, these mixes are not a limited edition. We will keep carrying these. We haven't made these. They're pre-made by Miyuki. So we will keep carrying them as long as they're available. One caveat, though, with pre-made mixes like this, you never know if they're going to be a little different from batch to batch. So, just be ready to have them be a little bit different. In the triangle, those are magatamas. This was a mix that I made, but magatamas would fit in here really nicely. You can see I use those magatamas in this Freeform Peyote bead that I'm doing. So throw in some magatamas in here. That would look amazing. I have strictly just used the flat iron mix. I have not added anything yet, but I did add the shadows right here. But I definitely think you could add to give it a little more pizzazz. Okay, so I'm putting those 2 in, tightening that down. So there we go. Things are looking like they are, see, much more stable, much more sturdy. I'm going to go out here. I'm almost done with this thread. I'm going to fill it in just a little bit here. I'm going to peyote stitch, skip a bead, put on a bead, go through a bead, skip a bead, put on a bead, go through a bead here. I think I'll do that same thing here. And I feel like that wants one more bugle right there. Yeah, there we go. So I think I can weave this in. So I'll go through. I'll go through. I'll go through. There's a little bit of a hole there, so I want to put a bead right there while I'm weaving. Let's see, maybe I'll make a little row of maybe an 11, an 8, and an 11, and put it through that cube. Yeah, that pulls it up. And also, again, when you just put those beads over the top, it gives you some dimension. Oh, Joy, it's my pleasure. I have not done a stitch in with you folks in so long, so it's really fun. It's really kind of calming, helps me focus. It's a lot of fun for me too to spend some time stitching with you folks.
You know, I'm sitting here looking at those earrings.
Which earrings?
That you're wearing.
Oh, uh-huh.
You know, those look really nice.
Hey,
they're not giant, biggie things.
No, they're a nice earring.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to put in an order.
Oh, all right.
And make them in blue.
Yeah, they're a pretty earring, for sure. This is a nice place to weave this in, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, it's a good... These new Super Duo mixes, again, we will be keeping them as long as they keep making them.
I love the pink and gray and white mix. That is so, you know.
It is pretty. It's very, it kind of has a vintage, yeah.
Yeah, it's a throwback.
Yeah, it is.
To my younger days.
Yes.
And, but I think the blue would be.
Yeah, the blue, that lagoon is really pretty.
Yeah.
Whatever that one is called. I'm going to do a little bit of peyote stitching running down here. And your stitches, your beadwork will just tell you what needs. Oh, I'll show them, Mare. Let me show you the ones I'm wearing. Then this can just weave in, and then I'll call it a day for this thread. But having these multiple threads going at the same time gives you a lot of choices where to go. Because again, this is not linear. This timeline is not linear.
Options.
Yes, options. Let me just get this through. I want it to go through at least one more bead. Come on, there we go. And that one right there. There we go. All right, bam. Now I'm going to cut that one away. So now I just have 2 threads, and those are ready to continue with. But here's that one. Yeah, this would look great as a section of a wrap, right? It would. Oh, and thank you, Kelly. I hope this makes sense, because this really is intuitive beading, right? You just kind of have to jump in and trust that the beads are going to fit together. Think about it like when you're doing a jigsaw puzzle with friends, right? Someone's working on the edge pieces. Someone over there is working on, the Christmas tree part. Someone is working on whatever. And then you just kind of put it together. So those are those 2 pieces that I put together, and then that I Ching. So again, I'm going to need about this much more before I attach, about, okay? And I'll keep measuring. So this is 1 tube of that flat iron mix. So depending on if you add anything, like I could just add these right in there. I could add some more drops, right? Those megatamas would look good. I could add some drops, would look good. whatever. Kind of comb through your stash and see. The needle that I'm using, Trudy, I'm using just the size 10. It is nice and sturdy. I'm not using the sharps. I'm using the regular beading needle. It's the size 10. It is nice and sturdy. I like it. You could also use a 12, but I chose a 10 for this. Again, you could mix a couple of the mixes together. This peacock mix would look great in there. And these are the earrings. This is the sandcastle earring, right? And we're using the that symbols earring finding. And that's just the wild honey mix from the...
Yeah, that's yesterday's project.
Yeah, that's yesterday's project. You can watch it on yesterday's free tip. It's also, the components right now are on the home page, though I'm going to make a project for this. I did make a project page for the Blue Note earrings, and the Blue Note earrings are up. I just have to add them to the homepage so you can have the link to it. But I'll get those done this weekend, and I'll link them in the newsletter. The other thing that I wanted to let you folks know is, let me see, I want to look at a couple of things here. Bear with me here. In our back end section in the newsletter tomorrow, you're going to see the back end section be on sale at 10% off. But I put it on sale already, but I'm going to announce it in the newsletter. So in the back end section, we've got a bunch of Chinese knotting cord that's back in, the Wix findings. So anything, if you're on the homepage, you click on back in, I've marked that down 10%. Okay, so you don't need a coupon code for that. You can stack it with your coupons. So that's going to be the promotion in tomorrow's newsletter. I'll also have the earrings and everything linked. And I'll have a little photo of this in the newsletter with some of the stuff that I used. Okay, so that's what's on tap for tomorrow. Oh, Ma, you'll love this. So Robin Jones says, I watched the world finals in speed puzzle competition. 500 to 1,000 pieces timed individually or teamed. They did them in minutes, not hours or days. I will tell you, Robin, my mom is also a speed puzzle aficionado. So the competition last year, I think it took place in San Diego. I think it was, wasn't it?
The Nationals.
The Nationals in San Diego.
Not the World. But
Not the World, so the Nationals. And so for Christmas, she brings a puzzle. And my friends are here. My friends Steve and Christine and Beth. And my mom talks about, the speed puzzling or whatever. So we did that not last year, but the year before. You did the speed.
This year.
No, you did it the year before was the first one.
Okay.
And then
this year we had I actually got one of the competition puzzles. Yes,
one of the competition puzzles. And they did it and they timed it. What was your timing?
I don't know.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
A few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that, yeah, or something. Yeah. So watching those is great.
I have a team.
Yeah. So what a surprise. We have a team. We did that, and then we played Hues and Clues. Also fun. Mare, thanks. I'm growing it out. The bob is coming back. The bob is back. Growing it out. So that's that, my friends.
So watching the puzzle competition on YouTube is like watching paint dry.
It is kind of like one of these stitch-ins when I do a lot of stitching. But it's fun.
But I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to watch. YouTube, I don't watch any regular TV anymore. All I watch are like YouTube and...
So let me have a minute here.
Uh-oh, here comes my mom.
Now, while you were away, I found this lady who has been making a quilt using vintage linens.
Okay.
Lace and embroidery and things like that. And she makes these blocks. She's been making blocks.
Oh, cool.
and it reminds me so much of, I mean, it's slow
stitching.
at
Yeah.
its best.
Yeah.
And so I will give you the link.
Oh, that would be great to watch her. Yeah, I love watching slow stitching.
So we have quite a collection. I mean, I have some lace that your great great grandmother knitted or crocheted or something.
We have a bunch of, and I even bought some more flippin' linens in France because, you know, when you're at the French flea markets and you're all, how much is this? They're all, oh, €1. And you're all, okay, I gotta have it.
But
so,
you know,
but they're easy to pick up.
Well, these things like what you did today and making these kind of fabric collages and all that is really an artistic outlet. Yeah,
it's really relaxing.
But I mean, it's really artsy.
It is. It is.
It's using your artistic ability.
Yeah, your artist and your artist's eye, and trusting your artist's eye. That's the thing. That's the other thing that we really talked about when we were in France with people who were sewing and maybe sewing for the first time, or maybe hadn't sewn in a while, or hadn't done this type of quote unquote improvisational sewing. You really have to trust that inner artist eye.
And your artistic creativity.
Yeah, and your intuition, you know.
And that being
agreed.
Being creative is fulfilling.
Oh, it's very fulfilling. Exactly. And as people are saying, they having an artistic outlet right now is super important.
Yes.
To just, you know, so we have calm minds and productive hands, for sure. Well, there we are, my friends. There's a nice, for a little, let me do this so you can screenshot this if you want to. Here, let me pull this back. It was a fun Saturday. I hope that you all enjoyed. It was great to see you all. Mara, thanks for jumping in. We'll chat soon. I guess that's all I have. I guess that's all I got for you today. On Wednesday, we'll be here with Emily. I will put the list again for all of the Christmas tree stuff, but we're going to be starting that project Christmas in July. The listing is up for the project, everything that we carry. And then there's a link to our Amazon store for all of the extra stuff that we're not carrying for it. Just remember the wire that you need. It's 26 gauge. It's a floral wire for all of that. All of that's linked. So yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thank you, folks, so much. I'll see you on Wednesday with Emily. Stay tuned to those newsletters because there's all kinds of stuff coming at you. All right. Talk to you folks soon. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.